and stream. I need to share my entire screen. Test. Poker tracker. Flopzilla. Pre set as active. Copy. What does that mean? If somebody is here, please let me know. Yeah, if you can hear me, please say something in the chat box. That would be super helpful. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we should probably review a win. 525. $5.25. Okay, let's see results. I won a tournament on the 25th. Let's see. Clear the filters. The date will be the 25th. 25th. Which tournament did I win? Now that is going to be a good. Let's see. Remove. Okay. 525. On 525, which is on Monday. Hey, if anyone can hear me and 525. Which tournament did I win? I think I won. Don't show Mertens. Perfect. We found it. Replay all hands. Minimize that bitch. Minimize this one. Minimize this one. We need ICMizer. Okay. All right. Looks like it's working. Grab my coffee. Streaming. Tremendous. Copy. Family chat. Curse chat. Reviewing. Let's see. How do I make it look less messy? I guess I'm not going to be able to do that. All right, let's see. I see miser. Check. Flopzilla. Check. Study. MTT. Man, I wish live streaming YouTube. Live streaming on YouTube. Smaller. Yo, whoever's here, welcome. F off. F off. All right. Let's review, I guess. Um, um, subscribers, anyone, live reactions, live chat replay, no slow-mo. All right. Um, um, 5-8. Squeeze folding, I guess. I think we should probably look this one up. Welcome. I see somebody here. Please let me know who it is. At least if I know who it might be. So, anyways, we're gonna look the spot up. Small blind versus hijack and the button. Let's see. Heads up, Chippy V, multi-size, 40. Hijack and button. Hijack has opened. Button has called. These are the small blind squeezes. I won't be here too long, so we will delete that. Delete that. Okay. Let's see. All right. So where do our bluffs come from? Some ace jack, some suited nines. What? Let's see. Welcome to whoever's watching. I sent out the wrong link, so hopefully this one's not working. We are reviewing a win on Ignition a couple weeks ago. Hijack has opened off of 40, button has called, small blind. What are we 3-bet bluffing? What are we 3-bet stacking off with? So ace 10 happens to fit this bill. So these are the hands that we are not all in 3-betting. King, queen off, ace jack off. At least these are the hands that are bluffing. Ace jack, ace 10. And then these suited nines, some ace 8. And I think if we are squeezing with hands like 8s through 7s, I think they move all in some of the time against a jam. We're going to find out right now. Okay, the original raiser moves all in. The button folds. And if we did squeeze with hands like 8s through 6s, we would stack off. Our bluffs are basically in blue. King, queen off, ace jack off, ace 10 off, suited nines. And yeah, we stack off with 6s, 7s, and 8s. Okay, that is helpful. What if the original raiser folds? Right here, what if he folds and then the button decides to jam? Then we are going with like ace 9, king 9, 8s through 6s, some ace jack off. Okay, helpful. What ended up happening? Okay, stack to pot ratio of 2. I think this board. Hi, Reem. You're my top fan. It says you're number 1. I'm wondering how you got that. That's weird. Okay, anyways, maybe because it's you're the only one in here. So what are your thoughts on this spot here? Range bet. She says, hell yeah. You wiped Wooly already? All right, let's see how to actually play this spot. Jack 9-4. Thank you, my love. If you want to just hang out for like 5 minutes, you don't have to respond anymore, but it helps, I'm guessing, to see if anyone else just wanders through. Are you coming down soon? I'm guessing we always want to suits on board, fold out 8s through 5s. Okay, no problem. Suits on board, 3-card open-ended, overcard to the jack. Jack 9 is really not too favorable, I don't think. Okay. Original raiser folds, button calls. Flop is Jack 9-4, Jack of hearts, 9 of hearts, 4 of diamonds. And then we find ourselves with ace 10, ace of hearts, 10 of diamonds. So we have suits on board, which is relevant. My exact combo, it kind of just favors like a smallish bet. There are plenty of hands that can go into a jam, but my exact combo is right here. It kind of like small to medium sizing. We don't really check on this board texture. Okay, that's helpful. What did I do? I bet a quarter, face to call, turn 5 of diamonds. Quarter, call, 5 of diamonds. And now my hand goes into another 25% sizing. Pretty unintuitive. That's probably why I didn't find it. Moving on. I guess this is a. I can double with this hand for B25 on turn. Let me see if ignore that link. That's I'm so looking forward to this coffee, my love. What does 6951 mean? 6951. Oh, okay. Next hand. Okay, nothing to see here. Oh, it automatically did that. Isolating this hand. I think it's a little too early. My favorite hand. Third, fold. All right, I'm actually going to sign off. I'm going to drink this coffee and bring our laundry up. I just wanted to, I think I'm going to start doing this and see if I can get people this way. Oh, fuck. Ugh. See ya. Let's see. Easy call. Easy win. 30 effective, blind versus blind. Isolating a very polar range. 9-3 fits the bill. I think we start checking hands like 5-9, 6-9, 7-9, things like that. So we will take a look at 30 effective, blind versus blind. And we will see that it is a very polar raising range. You can see here in yellow, this offsuit portion of the grid makes up a shit ton of combos. So strong hands, weak hands, nothing in the middle. We aren't incentivized to reopen the action. Blind versus blind, you just want to have a bunch of these offsuit garbage hands. You never want to isolate the suited portion. That doesn't make too much sense. You don't want to get moved off of these hands here in green. At least, this side, this suited side. So yeah, 9-3 off is definitely in there. And isolate. He calls. Turn is, flop is 10-7-2, flush draw. I have a overcard to the 7. I've got like a 3-card gutter, backdoor spades. I'm curious actually how much I should be betting on this board. So we're going to look at 10-2 of spades with the 7 of clubs. 10-2 of spades with the 7 of clubs. 10-2 with the 7 of clubs. Small blind checks. And we actually have to check a decent amount. I think it's because we don't isolate the middle of the grid too much. We do. We do hit some 10s, we do hit some 7s, but for the most part, we are really concentrated down here, and we pretty much whiff unless we hit 2. It primarily likes like a small sizing, somewhere between 25% and 50%. So let's see what I did. I went just over a third. It's fine. I folds. Ace 9. I think this is probably good enough to bluff. I'm not really stacking off for 19 big blinds, but I kind of want to have some bluffs here. I mean, you don't really have to, but let's just see what happens at. Let's assume that we are kind of deeper into the tournament. I've got 20 big blinds in the small blind facing, let's say 30 in the cutoff. Was I facing the cutoff? Okay. No, I'm facing the hijack, making this a lot worse. It is a lot worse. Hijack has opened off of 30. I'm in the small blind with 20. Actually, we do use this hand, so it's nice to have some bluffs in this spot. So, these are the hands that we are thrilled about having. King, queen. Where's the ace, king, jacks plus, ace, queen. These are our strong value portions, and the bluffs are going to come from king, queen offsuit, king, jack offsuit, ace 10, ace 9, ace 6, ace 3, ace 2. When we do 3-bet, we are getting some better hands to fold. We're getting a little bit of ace 10 off to fold, some king, queen off, king, jack off, king 10 suited, and ace 8 off. So I'm actually pretty happy I found this spot. Ace 9 off. Not making much money, but it is in there. Reem, are you still here, or is it somebody else that's in the chat? If it's somebody new, let me know, please. Okay, and I get 4-bet jammed on, and I have to fold. A lot of people won't have any bluffs in this spot here. On these anonymous sites, you don't really have to balance your range. You can kind of just do whatever you want, but I like the idea of having a bluff in that spot. I didn't risk too many chips. Plus, I want action when I have like aces, kings, queens, things like that. Let's keep moving on. If it's not Rame6951 that's watching, please let me know who it is. I'm just curious. Hijack has limped. I isolated 3.5. The approach here is anything that I would open in the cutoff, like let's say I open 35% of my range in the cutoff and the hijack has limped, I will just shave that range down from 35% maybe to like 28%, 25%. And I would basically just take those hands as in my opening range and I would isolate them. So let me just give you an example of that. Let's say my opening range is around 35% in the cutoff. Okay, so here's my cutoff opening range around 37%. I would go from 37 to maybe 27 against something like this. Maybe a little bit less. These pocket pairs, something like this when taking into account that somebody limped in front of me. So the hijack doesn't have a random hand here. Reem, are you still here? The hijack doesn't have a random hand. He has a playable hand. So he's not limping with deuce 7 offsuit. He's not limping with 2-3 offsuit, right? So he's limping with decent hands. So I just take my opening range and I shave it down by like 10% and then isolate all those hands. By isolate, I mean go to like 3.5 big blinds, 3.7, 4, something around there. And he folds. These stats indicate he is a weaker player. Okay, multi-way. Okay, that's not that interesting. Wow. Welcome to whoever stopping by. Hello, everyone. Look at all these people joining. We got 2. I ended up winning this tournament here, if you're watching, and I'm just reviewing all the hands that got me to the win. So I opened from under the gun with king jack offsuit. I'm facing a call from the big blind. Here, I think we need to be betting our hand against the big blind. I don't think I chose the right sizing. I think it should be closer to half pot. SPR is less than 3. I think we're always going to run it. I go small, and it causes this guy. Actually, this is like the really weak player. So I'm guessing I did this like exploitatively. I went for a really small sizing. I didn't expect this, a check jam. I expected maybe he's going to go to 4.5 and then I can call and then I can realize all my hands equity. But he check jammed. I probably had a read that it wasn't very strong, but you'll see that I'm dealing with pocket twos here. So king, jack, ace, 9, those cards are all live. Once we get to this turn 10, the queen and 6 will counterfeit his twos. Yeah, so I'm going to actually just double check this. Under the gun at 20 on queen 10-6 rainbow. Under the gun at 20 on king jack 6 rainbow. Multi-sizing. Under the gun has opened. I'm facing a call from the big blind. Queen 10-6 rainbow. Check. And now it's on us to act. We've got king jack offsuit, so there is no checking at all. It uses anywhere from 20 to 50%. So the way to simplify this would be just to bet like 40% with most of your hands, or some hands you want to bet big with. That's fine. I ended up having king jack off, so let's just say that I bet a third, and he moved all in. And we likely have enough equity to call. Yeah. All right, so king jack off is a call here. And this guy is just like jamming some really, really terrible hands. So opens to 5 big blinds. We fold. King queen offsuit, definitely a playable hand. This might be a bluffing spot. This guy's limping for 11. This guy's isolating to 3. I think this would be the worst hand I would actually put money into this pot with. I really don't know what I did because I played this tournament like a month ago. So I think moving all in is reasonable. I'm only risking 20 big blinds. This guy's likely very weak. This guy sees that he's likely very weak. Okay, I ended up passing. Let's see what we're dealing with. Pocket 10s, I wouldn't have gotten my hand through. And then this guy ended up having, I guess you can't see it. Moving on. All right, Jack 10, this is playable. Once somebody goes 2.5 in this position, if the guy goes 2, I will 3-bet bluff, semi-bluff from the hijack with this hand. Once he goes to a bigger sizing, I will probably just get rid of this hand. If it's somebody other than Reem 6951, let me know. Nice, we got a thumbs up. That's really cool. Let's keep going. Okay, my favorite hand, aces. So let's see here. Okay. We open from early position. We get called by the cutoff. We're playing 27 big blinds effective. We flop really well. What's the plan here? I can check. I have too strong of a hand. I don't expect to make any money from hands like pocket 4s, 6, 7 of diamonds. I'm not going to get a ton of money from kings, like king, queen, king, jack, king 10, maybe a couple streets. I just went for the small bet. I don't have spades in my hand. I don't have hearts in my hand, so they're more likely to have those type of hands. And he folds. I think there's plenty of merits to just checking this hand when it's that strong. Limp, limp, limp. We flop bottom pair with an overcard to the king. This guy bets 25%. He calls. I think we're getting good pot odds to probably just go to the turn. Guess not. He moves all in and folds. Did he show? Pocket queens. Okay. Interesting. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm only going to stop when I have a playable hand. If I'm confused about how a spot plays in general, then I will look at it. A lot of these tournaments, especially towards the end, are played under 20 big blinds, so you have to be really comfortable with the raise calling and then the moving all in portion of your strategy. We open queen seven of diamonds in the cutoff off of 27 big blinds. The big blind's basically all in. So we're pretty much only playing against two players. I'm playing against the button, I'm playing against the cutoff. This isn't my bottom, so I'm definitely playing a lot more hands than this. He moves all in, and he beats me with his king four. Okay, moving on. Pocket fours, 60 in the big blind, 44 in the small blind. We've got 5 big blinds, 20. I think this spot is marginal at best. I don't know what I did. I'm hoping I folded. Okay. Moving on. Okay. All right, so, this guy's limping for 2.5 big blinds, irrelevant. I got a gut shot, and I didn't try to bluff at all. Okay. A6 suited, not playable. Not playable. Let's keep going. 8-9 suited. I think this is too early from, we are in the +1 seat, plus there's a 6 big blind stack, a 7 big blind stack. I'm going to have to call them off when I do open, and I think these chips are too valuable, so we're going to keep, we're going to hope to fold. Okay, we did. Ace-4 suited, certainly good enough to open. We face both of the blinds. Calling, I've got a gut shot, I got an overcard, I have backdoor spades. I'm thinking that I was going to check if it checked to me. Once he moves all in, I need 30% equity, but the problem is I don't close the action, so this equity is not necessarily the one I want to use. I need more equity than the direct pot odds I'm getting because of the presence of the small blind. I don't know what I did. Okay, fold. All right, button opens to 3 big blinds. It's a large sizing. Small blind calls. I think it's a fold. Okay, good. Glad to see it. I would have hit the nuts. Let's keep going. I will let you know when we are at the final table. I don't think it's... Okay. 13 big blinds. Can we induce this hand? This hand is certainly strong enough to move all in. The question is, do we ever want to min raise with the intentions of calling off? The offsuit tends to not do that. I'll pull up a sim to kind of demonstrate that. You typically don't do that with offsuit hands. On the like ace 10 off, ace 9 off, those hands typically go all in. Let's see if we can find one where we have like 12. This is just like the first sim that I pulled up. You notice that the left-hand side here, the offsuit hands move all in. And because they suffer from playability, plus you're also moving all in with some weak hands. So these hands will strengthen when you're moving all in with some weaker pocket threes, ace 2. You certainly want to have some of these hands in there. The hands that you are inducing, they will be in yellow. So we want to basically induce occasionally ace king, pocket tens, king queen suited, and I guess these hands are inducing as well. So let's find out if we are inducing with those hands. We open to 2. Let's just say that the small blind moves all in on us and the big blind folds. Here we can see what hands we were inducing. Actually, we're raised folding a hand like ace 10 off. I'm sorry, ace 10 suited, ace 9 suited, ace 8 suited. But we move all in ourselves with the same hand on the offsuit side, which is really interesting. I would just prefer moving all in these hands against these type of players as well. Anyways, all in. I ended up winning this tournament for those that are just joining. I hope it's my friends. I hope it's random people. Either way, thank you for being here. Okay, 15 big blinds in the low jack. My options are all in, min raising, and open folding. Open folding is too weak. This hand's strong. You can also get better hands to fold. For example, when we open here to 2 big blinds, this seat here is going to have ace 7 offsuit. That hand folds. He's going to have pocket 2s. That hand folds. So anytime that you're putting money into a pot in poker, you want to be asking yourself a couple things. Can I get called by worse hands, and can I get better to fold? This fits the bill for both of them. I'm getting worse hands to call me, so big blind will occasionally move all in with hands like king jack suited. I'm doing well against pocket twos, pocket threes. I'm getting better hands to fold behind me, like ace two, ace three, ace six. The hand plays really well post flop. I just flop a pair and I just go with it. Stack to pot ratio of 1 here. If I move all in, can I get a better hand to fold? So am I going to get like an ace high to fold if the guy called me with a hand like ace two, ace three? Probably not. I'm not going to get a 9, a 5, or a 4 to fold. So I'm not going to get flush draw to fold. So I don't think I should be betting. It's whatever. I mean, can I bet with 2 over cards? It's probably fine. Let's keep going. Okay. Under the gun opens off of a huge stack. So he's got 70. I've got 12. A couple all-ins. I think that really shrivels the strength of my hand. So we'll just fold. It would have ended up having the nuts. Actually, he had the nuts. Relative nuts, but he had ace jack. The actual nuts is clubs. Let's keep going. Button limps. I don't think this hand is playable, so we'll just fold. Is this hand an all-in from the low jack? I think it's really close. Like, I'm definitely moving all in with a hand like ace 8, maybe ace 7 offsuit. Let's look this up at 10 big blinds in the low jack. I'm going to just pull up a 10 big blind sim, assuming everyone has 10. That's just not how the game works, though. In this sim, everyone has a bunch of different ones. So if everyone had 10 big blinds, ace 7 off is in there. Ace 5 off could be limped as a trap. I don't play this strategy, but I play all in or fold. Occasionally, I'll play like a min raise. So yeah, this hand's not good enough. And I was right. Ace 7 was the worst hand that we should be playing. Okay, with 8 big blinds, this hand is massive. This looks like aces to me. So it folds around to the small blind. He limps. It's an easy jam. Okay, let's keep going. 11 big blinds. Could I limp this hand? I don't think so. I think these chips are way too valuable. I'm guessing we're approaching the final table. So not against a chip leader. If this guy had 14 big blinds, I think we want to develop a limping range. But against a chip leader, that should probably apply pressure. Probably not. Let's keep going. If anybody is here, are you doing this on a regular basis? I will if people like this. Did you just find me through the shorts? Thank you for being here, by the way. Jan, if I can just call you that for short. Anyways, I ended up winning this tournament. This is on Ignition Poker. It was likely only like a $600 win, but I had a really good day that day. So you were the literal first person to comment and chat in the chat box. I'm just starting to do this. You know, I actually coach and I play poker for a living, but you're the first organic person to show up. So that makes me like really excited that you're here. So if you're enjoying this, please stay, please ask questions. Think of it like a free lesson. I'm going to play the World Series of Poker main event on July 5th. So I am kind of preparing for that. This isn't the right tournament to prepare for because this tournament's very shallow. It plays very multi-way. It plays very recreational, lots of limping. Yeah, so let's keep going. Please, if you have any questions, if you have, no on YouTube, okay, no on YouTube. Well, I'm glad you found me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Think of this as a one-on-one coaching session. Unfortunately, since you don't have a microphone, you'll just have to type in something and hopefully I can just answer it. But like I said, I won this tournament. I won multiple tournaments this day. Anyways, is this an all-in? Yeah, we've got 7 big blinds. It's a very easy jam. I'm shoving worse hands than this. I'm probably shoving ace 5 suited, all pocket pairs, all the suited broadways, king 9 suited, Queen 9 suited. I don't know if I'm moving all in with Jack 9 suited, but yeah, we move all in. We get it through. Pocket Jacks, my like fourth favorite hand. This is a very obvious get it in. We only have 10 big blinds. The average is about 500,000. So let's just see how much chips I have without. So I've got like 9.5 times the big blind is 15K. So we'll times 15,000. So I have 142,000. The average chip stack at my table is 485. It kind of gives you an idea of when to take on risk, right? I need to double up, and I'm still well below average. So you got to gamble sometimes. This is an obvious go. This is a really strong hand, so I'm not concerned about this one. But sometimes we might have a hand like King Queen suited, and we might have to run it. We might have a hand like pocket tens, pocket nines. We might have to run it. We need to get back into the tournament. And to win it, we need 100. I'm sorry, we need to get at least close to these average stacks. I have a tiny stack. So we obviously run it. We get looked up, and it looks like a terrible run out, but we're up against pocket eights. Boom, we are back in it. All right, blind versus blind. I want to be moving all in with some type of hands, like some weak hands, I should say. This doesn't fit the bill. What I would probably move all in with hands like Jack 2 suited, King 2 offsuit. We're getting better hands to fold when we do that. So, yeah, I'm going to wait to pull up the sim on other more interesting spots. But if you guys can think of something and you want me to pull up a simulation, just ask and I will. Even if it means I have to go back a few hands, guys. So just remember the hand, let me know what position or whatever, and we'll go from there. I open the button off of 25 big blinds. Keep in mind, we're dealing with stacks that should be moving all in at a really high frequency here. Okay, so like 10 and 25. So my opening range isn't as wide as it normally is. So for example, I normally open around 50% of hands. Like if you pull up, let's just pull up 30. If you pull up 30, we're opening around 50% of hands. But when we're dealing with a small blind and big blind that move all in at a high frequency, you know, I'm dealing with somebody with 11 and somebody with 25, they should be moving all in with a bunch of ace highs, a bunch of pocket pairs, a bunch of suited broadways. We don't want to be this wide. Anyways, going back here. Okay, so we flop Queen 5-3. I'm actually going to miss this board at a really high frequency. I'm on the button. I am playing a decent amount of hands. I'm going to be betting this board probably at a high frequency. The higher frequency that you bet, the lower your sizing should go. I probably want to bet this board at a really high frequency. We both don't hit the 3 and the 5 very often, so we're kind of just playing like queen versus queen. I hope I'm betting around 25% or so, or check. Now I'm really curious if I'm at the final table or not, but okay, I ended up checking. I played this tournament like a month ago, so it's been a while. Maybe I had a in-game read at the time. Maybe if I thought that if I check, I think I'm going to get a lot of bluffs from this guy on the turn. Is in range, I suppose, but I don't play them. Yeah. When we have the chip lead against the small blind, can we play that hand? We probably can. We probably can play 6-4 offsuit. Okay, so when we get here, maybe I had a read at the time. Why did I check my queen? I think betting 25% is fine. Maybe because I saw him do something where he spazzed out. So he's drawing dead on the turn, right? 0% equity. And we got him to bet the turn, 0% equity. We got him to bet the river, 0% equity. So sometimes we need to hold back some strong hands in order to pick off turns and rivers. Otherwise, if we checked every single time that we checked and they bet on the turn or they bet large on the turn and we can't continue on the turn and we often overfold on the river, we're probably playing a really weak strategy. You've got to be able to continue after showing weakness. Just because you check, it doesn't mean you're weak. Sometimes you're just acknowledging positions. Okay, we're both early positions. We're both tight. I'm going to just check some strong hands here. I'm going to check my whole range here. Anyway, what happened there? Why do I have 186 big blinds? What happened? Sorry, give me 1 second. Replay all hands. And let me just work my way backwards until I see the last hand that I played. What happened? That was very, very... Queen 10. Wow, sorry about that. If I don't find the hand, I am going to just go basically to the final table. Okay, I think we're close because the average is 430,000. Okay, I found the hand, and I think that the software just spazzed out here, reading 184,000. The blinds are thrown off here. It says 2988. That's not even a real blind sizing. So let's just keep moving on and keep looking for hands. Okay, so King 5 suited. This is a standard open from the hijack. I think you can occasionally open this from the low jack. It becomes a little bit worse as there are more short stacks behind you. You don't really want a 5 in their hand. You kind of want them to have 5s in their hand. Anyways, we open and we are playing out of position against 2 players. Calling off of 14 is really not a thing unless you're trapping with like aces or kings. And these players typically don't do that. So we'll start off with a check. I don't think there's merit in betting. The pot's really big relative to his stack size. I don't really want this pot to grow too fast. 1 big blind. I am beating queen highs. I'm beating counterfeited deuces through 6s. I don't think there's any reason for me to continue. And let me make sure that I have that chat box pulled up in case you have something to say. Where are we at? We are here. We are here. Okay. If you are interested in just kind of looking at the solver, I can do more solver stuff. I'm going to be here until I finish this coffee, and this coffee is full and it's hot. So I really thank you for being here. It makes it, I'm much more motivated to jump on and do this. So like I said, I play poker professionally. I am a coach. I'm playing the World Series of Poker main event July 5th. Last year, I made it to 105th place in the main event. So it's a $10,000 buy-in. There was 10,000 runners. I made it to day 6. Played the tournament for like a little over 55 hours, close to 60 hours before I got eliminated. Let's see what happened here. 7-9. This is a defend. If the jack is a 10 of diamonds or the jack is an 8 of diamonds, I think that we have to continue. Yeah. It's especially hard if you do it by yourself. I study with a lot of different people, different poker groups. It's really difficult to study by yourself because you need somebody to question your plays. You also need somebody to bounce ideas off of. What should we be bluffing here? If you weren't here, I probably would have glossed over this hand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the jack to either the 10 of diamonds or the 8 of diamonds, and I'm going to see if we're supposed to continue as a check raise when that jack is different. So we are going to do 25. I'm not going to run the simulation as if we are as if there is some ICM implications. I'm just going to run this scenario as if we are playing for chips, basically the first hand of the tournament. So let's double check that. Let's see. So King of Hearts, 3 of Hearts, Jack of Diamonds. King of Hearts, 3 of Hearts, Jack of Diamonds. Big blind has checked. I play a check as my whole range. They decided to bet about a third pot. They bet 2 big blinds into this 6 big blind, which is about a third. And am I supposed to respond with a fold with 7-9 suited? I believe I am supposed to. So where is 7-9 suited? It's right here. We only continue with a flush draw. We fold our 9-7 of diamonds. So now I need a check. Like, when can we continue with 7-9 of diamonds? Okay. Notice how 9-7 of diamonds is starting to actually show up. Okay, like, is this relevant? No, it's primarily folding. Okay, so that's not that important. But what if we change this 10 to an 8 of diamonds? We face a third, and now guess what? This hand continues every single time. primarily as a check raise. So I would not play this as a check call. I would ignore this green section here. I would just check raise as a bluff. Why should we check raise as a bluff? Well, number one, this hand has a lot more equity on king 8-3 than king jack 3. It's very subtle, right? It's a few cards down, but they're going to miss a little bit more frequently. We're going to turn more draws. So when it's an 8, I can pick up a diamond, I can pick up a 10, I can pick up a 6, I can pick up a 5, and all of those have increased my equity, allowing me to bluff the turn more efficiently or effectively. So yeah, so we bet, and let's just say that we check raise, and they call. And if you're curious how, let's see here, turn is a 5 of clubs. I will open this up if you're unfamiliar with this program here. It shows you the action by the person that's highlighted. So right now the big blind's highlighted, but both of these players are involved in the hand. Notice how these are all grayed out, right? These are all gray, gray, gray. So we are looking at button versus big blind, or you can kind of try figure it out by looking up here. Button versus big blind. The flop is up here. Tells you the actions up here. You can see that the pot's 15.8 big blinds. It tells you big blind's equity, 48% with their whole range. Button is 52% with their whole range. So anyways, if we were to check raise with 9-7 of diamonds and we pick up this gut shot on the turn, we always bet, right? If we get the 2 of diamonds, we always bet, right? Not always. I guess we only bet half the time. I guess we don't want to get moved off of this equity every single time. So we do want to bet with 9-7 of diamonds. So that's why it's more important that you can recognize that the jack is not so favorable. We would fold on the jack, but when it gets to the 10, it starts to creep in there. 8 of diamonds, we want to check raise full frequency. And then you can imagine the 6 of diamonds on the flop would likely be a full frequency check raise as well. Why would the 6 of diamonds be a good check raise? Well, number one, we can outdraw the 6 with our 7, our 9. We can pick up an 8, a diamond. So a 6 should be extremely favorable as well. So if we change this to a 6, we like our hand has great properties to check raise. Yeah, so it doesn't continue as a call. Notice this is the legend right here. So blue is fold, green is call, and then yellow is check raise. It's not a good use of your hand's properties to just check call. We only have 9-7 of diamonds. We only have 9 high. The reasons that you add money to the pot in poker, there's 2 reasons mainly. It's to get better hands to fold or get to worse hands to call. When you check raise 9-7 of diamonds, can you get a better hand to fold? Of course you can. Look which hands are betting. Most people might bet their whole range. So if somebody bets with a queen 5 of spades here, you're getting queen high to fold. That hand beats you. If you get somebody to bet, if someone's betting their ace 7 offsuit, ace of spades, 7 of clubs, we are getting a better hand to fold. So we check raise, and now look how much we are getting to fold. 30%. And we're likely getting more than this. The solver is much stickier than human beings. So anyways, if you weren't here, I wouldn't have dived deeper into that hand. So anyways, let me work on this coffee really quick. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would mean like a lot to me. I made some old video where I sound like a robot. Not great videos. Eventually, I'm going to come out with some better content, but that would be really helpful. Let's see. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully, you have a little bit more time. I do win this tournament, so blind versus blind. We're playing 10 big blinds effective. What hands should we be moving all in with? I don't know if we're near the money, but if we're near the money, we need to be moving all in with 80% of hands, a ton of hands, because they're going to be folding a lot, especially if they're going to be in the money in like 5 players. This one seems very obvious to me. If you want me to pull up what we should be moving all in with, let me know. Remember, if you get called by ace king, you have 40% equity. Okay, so let's imagine you get called by ace king, ace queen, king queen. It doesn't really matter. Pocket 5s, pocket 4s. I'm really arbitrarily selecting some hands, okay? You're up against ace, king, king queen, pocket 5s, pocket 4s, ace 2 suited. When you have jack 9 off, you're going to have like around 40%. 35, 38%. I'm not sure. 38. Okay. So almost 40% of the time we're going to win. Perfect. I really hope you're enjoying this. Thank you. Yeah. Anyways, good equity when called. You got to understand when you get called, you always have the chance of winning, right? Okay. If I had a hand like ignoring these stacks behind here, because you don't really want to bluff when these guys have like 12 and 8. You don't want to bluff too much because you're going to have to call off if I 3-bet this guy to 6 big blinds. But the hands that I would choose to bluff this guy, maybe hands like King Jack offsuit. So I think it's really helpful to think about the things that are hardest to do. I bet you're not that interested in figuring out how you should play aces or kings or ace king. Not that helpful. We often miss the flop. We often don't make a pair. The hard part in poker is figuring out when to bluff, how to bluff, the sizings and things like that. So what should I be bluffing with? Assuming that the blinds both have like 25 big blinds, I think I would be bluffing from hands like king queen offsuit. Maybe king jack offsuit. Maybe this hand is sprinkled in here a touch. Maybe ace jack offsuit. Ace 10 offsuit. I would be bluffing with those type of hands. These stats indicate this player is extremely tight across 68 hands. It's not a huge sample, but I would be reducing my bluffs against this player. He doesn't play a lot of hands, therefore the surface area of the range to attack, it's too tight. When I say surface area, offsuit hands, if you look here, make up 12 combinations, right? Ace king off, 12 combos. If you add the suited, 16 combos. So, in other words, suited is 4 combos. Ace queen suited, 4 combos. King queen suited, 4 combos. Pocket pairs make up 6 combos. So, aces and kings is 12, 18. So, when I say surface area, if they have a lot of offsuit hands in their range, they have a ton of hands that they plan on raising with intentions of folding. So, if we remove some strong hands, like maybe these, every time somebody has these hands in their range, they're going to fold 180 times to 3-bets. Most people aren't raised calling a 3-bet with king jack off or ace 10 off. So you got to think about which hands open from the spot. If you 3-bet, which are we getting a ton of folds? And this player is not the type to have tons of hands in their opening range based on this 9-3 heads-up display. Let's keep moving on. Let's keep going. Pocket nines. This is a really strong hand. Especially right now, my stack is 300,000. I've got like 480, so I'm sitting just below. Is that right? 480. Yeah, 480. I'm sitting just below average. Let's see what happens. +1 opens off of 20, and now it's on me. To me, this is a very standard all-in. This hand's strong. I'm below average. These, like a 5 big blind stack and 8 big blind stack, to me, these stacks are almost irrelevant. So I'm kind of playing like a late position. Pocket nines is like such a green light. I don't know exactly how low I would jam, but I think I would take pocket 8s and pocket 7s. I'm jamming king queen suited. Remember, I'm not telling you to jam aces or kings or queens. I don't care about the easy hands to play. I'm wondering about the edges. Jamming king queen suited, jamming king jack suited, jamming ace jack suited, jamming ace 10 suited. Maybe I'm jamming queen jack suited. I'm probably not jamming jack 10 suited, queen 10 suited. I'm folding those hands. I could bluff those. Moving on. King 3 and get a walk. 6 big blinds. Not that interesting. Let's keep going. I'm guessing we are approaching the final 2 tables. I think we've got to be pretty close to the final table, I'm imagining. Okay. All right, this is a good hand. There is no small blind. A bunch of short stacks. There's nothing to do other than all in. If I had aces here, I'm min raising. Kings, I'm min raising. Queens, I'm min raising. Maybe I min raise ace king suited. Nothing to do other than move all in. Remember the two reasons why you bet. You bet to get better to fold or get called by worse. That always has to run through your mind if you are adding money to the pot. Okay, this was a limped pot. Button is basically posted all in. Ace high is usually going to be okay here. I'm going to try to get it to showdown. I still have some equity. I can hit a 4. I can hit an ace. I'm just trying to roll my hand over. I lose to this guy, but I made a little bit of money on the turn when this guy bet a big blind. So I recouped some of it. Okay, nothing to do there. Strong hand. We're all in. Yeah, you got to be really comfortable with the all in and then stacking off portion of this, especially with this format. Look, everybody's short. 5 big blinds here, 4 here, 2 here, 8 here, 19 here. This is a really strong hand. I'm probably moving all in with maybe ace 9 offsuit, but I'm not sure. I have a really strong hand here. This guy's all in. I'm thinking of this guy's dead money. So there's an extra 2 big blinds out there. I'm really incentivized to even more so. I really like my hand here, especially because these players don't necessarily interact with 9s. Like when this guy opens under the gun, what type of hands does he have? Ace kings, ace queens, ace jacks, king queens, king jacks. When these guys move all in, they also interact with that section. King queen suited, ace jack, maybe pocket 10s, things like that. They usually don't have a 9 in their hand. So I like that these guys have added money to the pot. They remove usually some outs from under the gun. I'm not sure if that was confusing, but I'm all in up against pocket 8s, pocket 6s, ace jack. That was a good scenario. This is a terrible raise call by 6s. I never have worse than 6s here. I don't ever just move all in with hands like pocket 5s, pocket 4s, pocket 3s. I'm not bluffing under the gun with a hand like ace 4 suited. I don't have much fold equity, so we have to play linear. We have to play top down. So the hands that I would be moving all in with, I grab from the top first. I don't grab 2s, 3s, and 4s. There are situations when you want to move all in with these weak pocket pairs like 2s and 3s to fold out hands like 4s, 5s, and 6s. That's usually big blind versus late position. Yeah, this was an absolutely terrible call, but this is why poker is profitable. Kind of a dream scenario there, especially because I have to be close to the final table here. Let's keep going. If you're still with me, thank you. All I ask, subscribe. You'll know when I jump on here again. That'd be great. Maybe you can leave me a thumbs up if that's possible. I open from under the gun. Guys all in for 3. There isn't a hand that we should be raising and then folding. So we did not beat him. And you can see here that the average is 2 million. So there's a possibility that we are at the final table. And if we're not at the final table, then we are final 2 tables or something along those lines. That was my table over here on the side in case you heard some noise. Let's keep going. 2 million is the average. I'm sitting on 1 million. When you see the average, you should be able to calculate the average. You should know when you need to take on risk. Do I call you Jan or what do I call you? Okay, let's keep going. All right, we have a strong hand here. All in, we get called by 7 big blinds on the button. I flop really well. We just got lucky. I won my 30%. Let's keep going. Jan, are you here? Is anybody here? If you are here, let me know. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to replay a hand, pull up the solver. Ace 9 suited. When you're playing from early position here, you don't really want to jam a lot, especially at a final table. So here I have intentions of min raising with the intentions of folding to some people. So Like I'm going to min raise with the intentions of calling this 5 big blind stack, and that's about it. I don't think I'm going to call him, but we min raise, it gets through. I flop a 9, and this guy moves all in. Jan, the music man, welcome and thanks for being here. Like I said, if you can, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, if you think this is decent content, I'd like to try to do this a little bit more. This guy moves all in on me. So like, okay, so we open under the gun, we get called by the big blind. He's probably playing a decent amount of hands. He's not too loose, but he's playing a decent amount of hands. Let's ask ourselves this question. The guy moves all in. If he had a king, wouldn't he just wait for me to bet? Like, why does he need to overbet all in when I'm likely to bet? So I flop a 9 with a strong kicker, the best kicker. So if I'm going to lose, I'm going to be up against probably some flush draws, maybe some 7-8, maybe some clubs, maybe some worse 9s you'd have to draw out on me. I call, and I'm up against Jack 6. That's not very good. So let's keep going. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Let's assume I'm at the final table. I'm not 100% sure. Once again, this is on Ignition. It's an anonymous site. When you play on an anonymous site, you should pretty much just play exactly how you want to play, exactly how your hand wants to play, because these people aren't going to have too much notes on you. They don't have enough sample size to figure out what you're doing. So I don't think this is a call, actually. I think these are folds. These pocket pairs don't play well in these spots here. Maybe I had a read that I can get away with this, but I don't believe you're supposed to call with these pocket pairs here. But you should if you're going to flop a set. Check, check. Turns a 6. He bets. I call. I'm obviously trying to like trap him, and I go for a raise here. I'm beat by a 9. He calls, and we win a big pot. Deuces. All right. I hope this tournament ends soon for your sake. This guy's all in for 2.7 big blinds. King 10 suited is probably ahead of a 2.7 big blind jamming range. Let's see. He beats me with ace 8. And if this isn't the final table, this is final 2 tables, and we're about to break to the final table. Okay, blind versus blind. I've got 9 big blinds. Ace high is a strong hand. I would be jamming a bunch of king highs. I think I'd be jamming every single king as well. King 2 offsuit, king 3 offsuit, king 4 offsuit. If you are curious what that looks, if you're curious and want to see a simulation, just let me know and I will pull it up. Wow, we got lucky here. So remember, anytime that you have one overcard to a pocket pair, you've got 30%. This is why it's important that, let me just pull up something. Let's go ICM final 2 tables. And let's just simulate small blind versus a short stack. 14 versus 7. It folds around to us in the small blind. Take a look here. Queen 2 offsuit, Jack 4 offsuit. When you move all in here, they're folding better hands. So we moved all in with our Queen 2. We are getting Queen 3 to fold, Queen 4 to fold, Queen 5 to fold, Queen 6 to fold. So remember, we've got 14, they've got 7. You can jam a lot of hands. If you jam with your 9-2 suited, remember, you're going to have equity when called, but remember, you're also getting better to fold. You jammed your 9-2, guess what? They fold 9-3, they fold 9-4, they fold 9-5. All these hands have you beat by, they're 70% favorites against you, right? You jammed your 9-2. They folded Jack 2. That hand has 70% against you, and it folded 70%, 70%, 70%, 70%. Anyways, we came through. So our ace is going to bail us out 30% of the time. Give me 1 second. Jan, the musician. while the coffee's still hot. All right, let's keep going. Curious where you're located, Jan. What kind of music do you play? Do you teach? Just a rough idea. I'm not trying to get too much detail out of you. Just whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, this guy's all in for one big blind. I'm kind of just treating him as dead money. I don't think it's necessary for me to go like 3 big blinds or anything here. So I'm just going to min raise and try to go heads up with this guy. I end up going heads up and I win. Okay, this is an expansion. Okay, this hand does not fall into an opening range, but these guys are going to probably fold some better hands. I open here, I think he folds ace 7 offsuit. I open here, I think he folds 2s. I open here, this guy might fold a hand like, I don't know. Let's imagine we're at a final table. If we're at a final table, this guy might fold hands like king 10 offsuit. Although I beat that hand, he's trying to survive this guy. He's trying to get a ladder on this guy. Remember, each person that you advance past or survive, you get more money, right? So the chips are extremely valuable. It's basically, it's called ICM. Okay, queen 10 suited. Why are we moving all in here? Well, number one, he covers this guy. He wants to get, he wants to advance past him. He shouldn't be getting eliminated too frequently in front of him. Can I get better hands to fold? When I move all in here, he folds queen jack offsuit. He folds king 10 offsuit. He folds pocket 2s. He folds pocket 3s. He folds ace 7 offsuit. He folds better hands. When he looks me up, let's imagine that I run into ace jack, right? I run into ace jack. He decided to call me. Well, how am I doing against ace jack? I'm going to win 41% of the time, right? That's not nothing. It's a good amount, 42%. Not bad. Open jamming right here. Min raising is fine. Min raising here is fine. Trying to get jams from hands like king queen suited, ace jack suited. The problem is when I min raise here, it gives him the opportunity to move all in with pocket 8s, pocket 7s. Those hands have me beat by 5%. By moving in here, these guys have to fold. They do not want to get eliminated before this player. They do not want to get eliminated before this player. So it gives you added fold equity. Let's keep going. He opens to 2.5. When I call here, Netherlands, you use Octopi, GTO Plus, Flopzilla, play very low MTT. You love bounties, play on. Man, I would love to go to the Netherlands. Well, thanks for being here. It's probably evening for you, I would imagine, like 8 hours ahead at least. Use Octopi. Octopi is good, I've heard. GTO Plus. I used to use GTO Plus. I have GTO Plus right here. Right here. Flopzilla. You play very low MTTs. You love bounties. Play on GG poker and coin poker. Yep, I play on all those. I recently had like a 5K score on coin poker. I chopped up a $33 buy-in. So yeah, if I could provide you some value, I would love to do that. So yeah, so we took first in this $33 deep stacked. Name on there is proof of work. Took first in the WPT event. $22 10K first. 2K score. First in this 55 freeze out, $1,500 score. This tournament here is the one I'm showing you, I think. First in this tournament, which is $550. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, this tournament that we're reviewing is literally this one. Not that big, right? It's $10 buy-in, but it's still 55 buy-ins. Let's go back. 55 buy-ins. So actually, is it gonna? What happened here? Oh wait, this isn't the right tournament. Hold on. This one. Okay. Interesting. I'm surprised I didn't call here. This is the spot where we need to recognize that we get to over-realize our equity. Over-realize. So when I call here, he has to check the flop a ton, allowing me to pick up more diamonds, more 6s, 7s, 9s on the turn. You know, like I'm basically getting to see more streets with my hand because I have a chip lead, because he doesn't want to get eliminated before the button. So here I should be calling, I think, but I read this as way too strong. Most people would move all in with a hand like ace king offsuit, king queen suited, ace jack suited, pocket nines. I think they would move all in. So when somebody raises into the chip leader, I give them a little bit more credit. So anyways, let him have it. We'll just move all in with ace queen off. If you've got any questions, just let me know. He's all in. We're almost done here. I think heads up ends up being really quick. Ace 3. Okay, 10-5. Oh my God, no. I think now we're at the final table. I'm gonna go through it really quickly. Sorry. Thanks for being here. I face a 3-bet at the final table, pocket 10s. This isn't really a hand I want to have here. I don't really want to go post swap too much. I want to play a lot of like 4-bet or fold. I'm not going to know what to do on a king high board texture, ace high board texture. Plus, the bluffs usually come from hands like king 10 suited, ace 10 suited, so I don't really like my hand too much. King jack suited, blind versus blind, all in, easy all in. Jam. Come on, let's get to this win really quickly. Show Jan, I know what I'm doing. All in. I mean, we open here. We're simply trying to steal the blinds here. At the beginning of a tournament, this is an all-in to try to steal the blinds. At the end of a tournament, this is I'm trying to steal the blinds as a bluff. We are not calling anyone's all-in. When somebody moves all-in on you at a final table, it is a much, much stronger range than you're used to dealing with. So that's an easy raise fold. Let's keep going. I crawled back from this tournament, so I'm last in chips here. Last in chips, end up winning. So ace high for 6 bigs. Seems good enough. Wow, I flopped 3 2s. Got to get lucky. Got to get lucky. I've got 13 big blinds. I'm up against like a player that's actually active and playing some hands. So I'm not going to get better hands to fold though, right? So we're not going to get ace jack off to fold very often. Sorry, that's my chair. If you hear that sound, we go for it. Guys all in for half a big blind. I limp my small blind. Here, we can eliminate him having an ace, right? So ace high texture in a limped pot, blind versus blind, is very favorable to the small blind. The small blind actually gets to limp in with hands like ace 2 offsuit, ace 3 offsuit, ace 4 offsuit. He shouldn't have any because if I limp, he should just move all in with a bunch of ace highs or at least make it 3 big blinds. So when I'm gonna lose, I'm usually losing to a 6 better kicker, 8 better kicker. So I'm hoping I bet. Okay, I end up checking. I continue. I pick up a 4, check, check, and I'm going for like a chunky 80% sizing maybe. And then he loses. I don't get to see his hand. Moving on. Almost done here. We will wrap it up. Ace 9, great hand. Blind versus blind. 7 big blinds effective. All in, easy. All in as well. 6 big blinds, 4 big blinds. We're putting max pressure. Remember, if this guy here with 6 bigs, he wants to survive against the big blind. He wants to survive against him because he's going to get an extra $100, $150. So this guy can have a hand like pocket 4s and he will fold. This guy might have a hand like ace 2 offsuit and will fold. Remember, I'm listing off hands that are better than mine. All in. Can you get better to fold or worse to call? Those are the reasons that you add money to the pot. This is an investment game. Can I get better to fold when I open queen to knob? I certainly can. People are going to fold some king highs behind me, some ace 2s behind me. Okay, we go to this flop. We're up against this guy's all in, and this guy has 3 big blinds. I don't know what I did here. Check, check. I don't know if there's a reason for me to bluff. It's so weird that the guy's even calling off of 3 big blinds. I wasn't going to bluff him anyways with that hand. I get a walk. Strong hand here. Open. Oh, I limp. Okay, that's interesting. The dynamic is because the chip leader's in the big blind. If I min raise, he can just move all in and put me in the same predicament I put the other guys in. He's like, don't you want to survive this 9 big blind stack? Don't you want to survive this 2 big blind stack? Developing a limping range is fine. I would have aces occasionally here. I would have kings occasionally here, queens occasionally here, maybe a hand like ace king suited. So developing a limping range, I flop the nuts, which is part of my strategy, is like try to flop the nuts as often as possible. I check back to see if I can maybe get some chips out of the big blind. It's not going to happen likely on these type of turns. Oh, I stand corrected. I go for a half pot. I'm targeting a jack of clubs, maybe a stubborn 2 pair. Remember, I'm blocking. I have the king of clubs. I have the 10 of clubs. How many? I'm only going to get called by the jack of clubs or the 7 of clubs. Let's see. Let's keep going. Hey, Jan, do you have an ideal time that you're free to do a little bit of studying? If I were to do this free every Saturday, your evening time, it looks like. I'm looking up the Netherlands time right now. I'm guessing you guys. I'm guessing it's like 8 p.m. over there. Netherlands time. Oh, it's 10 p.m. 9:30 over there. Okay, so you guys are 9 hours ahead. Oh, it was close, but like I said, you are the first organic person to show up through just the YouTube algorithm, and I want to cater to you for just. I'm just trying to incentivize you to come back and reward you for being here and staying with me. You help the algorithm. You're going to help get traction for me. So I think we both win. I can help you for free. You are helping me by the algorithm sort of spinning up additional views. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyways, let's keep going. Okay. 3-handed. This guy's all in for 6 big blinds. We're calling a lot worse than jacks. I beat the king 5. And let's play this guy heads up. He 3-bets me the very first hand. He is showing me that he will not be messed with. And then I 3-bet him the next hand. I let him know I will also not be messed with, but then he 4-bets me and then I have to fold. Tail between my legs. Sad. Let's see here. Okay, let's keep going. I limp. Once we're at 20 big blinds and below, blind versus blind, I should say heads up poker, you don't want to be folding too much. You want to play as many hands as possible, and an opening range doesn't support playing a ton of hands. So the way you play a ton of hands is by limping a bunch. So my strong hands will be limped, my weak hands will be limped. An hour early would be nice on Saturday. So an hour earlier. So I probably started like around 8 o'clock your time, so closer to 7 o'clock your time. Okay, around 7 o'clock. Right? Is that right? Around 7 o'clock your time. Your time is what? I'm just writing myself a note. We'll shoot for maybe next Saturday. Okay. Sweet. Around 7 your time is what I'll shoot for next Saturday. Something like that. Okay. I limp. He isolates me from the big blind. Not sure if this is a call. Probably not. But it doesn't matter. I'm missing every single board that... Okay, he moves on for 14 big blinds. Ace-2 off, blind versus blind, heads up. Pretty strong hand. I hit the ace. We're back in the mix. I'm developing an opening range again off of 27 effective or 22 effective. He jams on me. In hindsight, I should have limped. Now back to, okay, we got a deuce. We fold. He isolates. I'm going to try to bluff him here. I've got a 3-card open-ended. I can outdraw the 9 by hitting a jack. It worked. Check, check. I hit the king on the turn. Here's an example of being able to follow up on the turn. So I check the flop, check the turn. Most people can't defend after they check out of position and then they check the turn out of position. Here, this hand defends my check node, right? So I need to have a hand occasionally that can continue on this turn. So he puts in a small bet. I would like to see myself put in a small check raise occasionally, maybe to 3.9 big blinds, just to not let a hand like queen of clubs, four of spades just randomly get to see the turn. Okay, I check called, check the turn, and then I just check jam the river when I hit two pair. I don't read this sizing on the river as strong. If he had, let's say, a hand like 4-6, if he had a hand like a flopped flush, if he flopped a set, this isn't the size that people use with strong hands. And if you can read that, which I think I did, you know that your king 5 is effectively the nuts. Jack 4, limp, he isolates me. Queen 2, fold. I limp, he isolates me. I call, I hit my 3. I'm just trying to get this to showdown. He bets on the king turn. I think I have to call every time. Man, that can't be good. Let's move on. Maybe I had an in-game read that I know I was going to beat this guy, and I had the right reads on him. He isolates me. I just jam here. I think calling is okay. The hand's playing well in position, but whatever. I was kind of sick of this guy isolating me. I think this hand's fine to do it with. I've got an open-ended straight draw. We're going to start bluffing the turn here. He calls, and then river's an 8. I'm going to continue the bluff. He doesn't check back an 8 on the flop. Remember, he checked back on the flop. He opened, check back. When someone checks back here, I'm instantly thinking high cards. Does somebody check back ace 8? Does somebody check back king 8? Does somebody check back queen 8? Does somebody check back pocket 9s? Does somebody check back 5? Right? So I'm eliminating the strong hands. Turns 5. I don't really think he's got a 5. Right? Maybe occasionally does. He calls here. I think he has backdoor diamonds occasionally and high cards. Is a high card really going to call me here? Well, if he has ace high, he might call me. So I'm going to have to use a pretty chunky size. I'm betting like a third of his stack. He calls and he beats me with ace high. I'm glad I read that correctly. Backdoor diamonds, high cards. I read it correctly, and I don't remember this hand. This was a month ago. All in with queen 10. He's all in, and of course, this is an easy call. I would call ace 10, ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, ace 6, ace 5, ace 4, ace 3. Maybe I fold ace 2. Calling king queen. He's got ace 4. I win. Fold jack 2. I can limit the hand if I wanted to. 9-3. He bets. I fold. I have a good hand here. 10-8. It gets better hands to fold. Good equity when called. Those are extremely important. Let me go back. This hand might look like just 10 high, but it's got great equity when called. If somebody looks you up with king queen, ace jack, ace 9, pocket 7s, excellent equity when called. Let me just show you. 10-8 suited, and if we're up against hands like, I'm not going to put aces, okay? But look, if we're up against some ace kings, king queens, king jacks, and then some pocket pairs, 41%. This is excellent equity, and I'm getting better to fold. When I move all in here, he folds a hand like jack 10 offsuit. When I move all in here, he might fold a hand like queen 8 offsuit, right? He might fold a hand like ace 2 offsuit. So those are the reasons that we put money into the pot. Better to fold or worse to call. And I'm right here. I'm getting better to fold. Great equity when called as well. Let's keep going. Ace high is pretty good heads up. We'll just move all in against him. I think this is where I end him. Hit the showers. GG. Yep, that wraps it up. Thanks for being here. And that was 55 buy-ins or so. I will try to be here again on Saturday, a little bit earlier, Jan. So thanks for joining. I appreciate you. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Any questions? I can field some. Otherwise, I might just Might just do a little bit more miscellaneous review and go from there. I do need to review some spots, so I think I will do that. I just need to pull up this notebook. All right. So I think what we're going to do, actually, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Jen, appreciate you. Put on your agenda. Sweet. Well, I appreciate you doing that. I don't know if there's a way of reaching out to me. How do you reach out to me? Can you do it on my channel? I don't know, but this channel is growing. Like I said, I appreciate you being here. I'm going to try to do live on Saturdays. So is there anything that you want me to touch on? Do you want me to look into, I'm going to show you general approaches to small blind play, which I think is like the hardest. It's certainly not intuitive to kind of understand like small blind work. A lot of people don't play small blind like this. So this is something that I work on a lot. Learning how to play small blind also, let's see. Don't want to put that email up there, but yeah, this small blind stuff is not easy. So let me pull something up really quick. 40 small blind versus. And okay. Middle position has opened, and you always want to take a peek at their opening range. So starting with a little bit of pre-flop, I'm gonna wrap up as soon as this coffee's done. So I'm gonna be wrapping up in like 10 minutes. So what you need to understand is what the opening range looks like. So hijack opens offsuit tens, suited sevens. That captures the bulk of their opening range. Okay, so when you figure out the way you figure out how to bluff somebody is in position, we'll start bluffing underneath their tens. So what do I mean by that? So when you look at the cutoff, look at where the bluffs come from. The pattern is obvious. It starts below their tens. So sure, we do bluff with some tens ourselves. Okay. On the offsuit side, sure, we use some offsuit tens, but on the suited side, we use a bunch of suited nines. The reason for that is because if you talk about surface area, remember, Jack 10 offsuit, this hand's going to fold versus a 3-bet. Queen 10 offsuit, 12 combos, that will fold versus a 3-bet. All of these hands have intentions of folding versus 3-bets. So we don't really want to have a 10 in our hand, and we want to target a certain part of the range. So if you go to their response, I try to create some questions now and place some suited connectors more. Nice. Yeah, come up with anything you can think of. So this is kind of the target range that we are targeting. Okay, think of dropping some artillery shell on their range. Remember, this is a game about surface area, and they're going to raise these hands with the intentions of folding. Maybe King Jack folds every time. So all these hands are going to be raised folds. Maybe King 9 off is going to be less than 12. But this is why we want to have nines in our hand and not necessarily tens. The moment you have a 10 in your hand, you are blocking the cards that you want them to have. The great thing about this game is with the two cards that your two whole cards, you get to interact with the rest of the deck. There's only 52 and you know two of them. When you're holding a 10, they have less Jack 10 offsuit. Let me just show you that. Flopzilla. So this is the way we have to think about when they have, these are the hands I'm trying to get to fold. For example, I'm going to try to get these hands to fold. 72 cards, 72 combinations I want them to fold. But if I put a 10 in my hand, remember, if I put a 10 in my hand, this gets reduced to 60 combos. If I don't have a 10 in my hand and I just choose to bluff with a hand like A7, it goes to 69. So if you want them to fold, you don't want these cards in your hand. It's not perfect, but that's how the solver thinks, right? That's why it's important to understand where people open from. They open offsuit 10s, suited 7s. So when I'm in the cutoff, I will be bluffing around my suited 9s, suited 8s, and some of these random middling ace X. Same thing goes for the button. When I'm bluffing from the button, I'm using some of these offsuit broadways, but once again, I'm using suited nines and suited eights. We don't use any suited tens because number one, we don't want to get moved off of these hands. If I 3-bet you to 6.8 big blinds and you move all in for 40 bigs, that's not good. I've got moved off of these equity. These hands are pretty, they're playable, and I'm in position. We want to use slightly worse hands. And when we go to the small blind, more linear. Okay, we're playing out of the small blind. We still have the big blind to act. We use strong hands and we use playable hands. We don't use too much tens. Ace 10's pretty much calling. Queen 10's pretty much calling. Jack 10 a little bit of bluffing, but pretty much using these strong hands to bluff with. Bluffing is not the right word. It's semi bluffing is a much better word when it comes to. Think about the solver is basically telling you you can invest money or you can make the pot grow with these type of hands. I think that's the more appropriate, healthy way of thinking about bluffing pre-flop. Okay, you are allowed to make this pot grow with these type of hands. It's quite uncomfortable at first to start using hands like King 8 suited, King 9 suited, Ace 8 suited, King Jack offsuit, Ace 10 offsuit as a bluff, right? It is uncomfortable, but you have to remember that when you are 3-betting out of the small blind and you have a hand like Ace King or pocket kings or pocket queens, pocket jacks, Ace Jack suited, basically when you have strong hands, you should have some weak hands. Because if I can tell you, okay, I'm trying to identify that sort of classes. Yeah. Look, we're looking at a theoretical world, right? Everybody's playing perfect. Everyone knows what each other's doing, how many combos we have, what frequencies we're taking. But oftentimes you're going to realize that when you 3-bet your pocket kings, you don't get any action sometimes. Queens, you don't get any action. You have aces, you've waited around for 2 hours and you don't get any action. The problem with not getting any action is you haven't advertised that you're capable of playing a lot of hands or that you're capable of bluffing. Sometimes in low stakes poker, you don't need to advertise that you play a lot of hands. If you're playing in a game where every single time that you add money to the pot, you raise, you 3-bet, people are happy to call you, you don't need to bluff. You don't need to bluff. Just stick with 10s plus, ace, queen, ace, jack suited, and you're fine. But as you play higher and higher stakes, the way you get action is effectively advertising. 3-betting king 9, 3-betting ace 6, people see it at showdown, or you've 3-bet somebody enough. Let's just imagine that I'm on the button and you open the hijack, okay? Let's just say I 3-bet you. Okay, I go to 6.8 big blinds. If you, if you're having a hard time following the action, just look right here and you can see who's highlighted, right? So small blinds highlighted means we're on the small blinds range. Ignore small blind. Okay, so I 3-bet you, and let's just say you ended up having queen 10 offsuit. You fold. Cool. 2 orbits later, you open the hijack again, and now guess what? I 3-bet you again. It doesn't matter what I have. Let's just say I have ace 6 this time, and you happen to have ace 9 offsuit. You fold. Okay? You're kind of getting a little bit annoyed. Once again, 2 orbits come by, an hour goes by, you open the hijack, guess what? I 3-bet you again. You might be getting annoyed by now. This is the 3rd time that I've 3-bet you, right? Maybe I've had kings every single time. Maybe I had ace king every single time. To you, you don't know, but you're annoyed, right? You might start taking hands like pocket 9s, pocket 8s, and moving all in against me. Maybe incorrectly moving all in against me with ace 10. You might get fed up with me. You might be moving all in with these hands. But from my perspective, you have folded each time. I'm going to start, if you're going to keep folding, if your response, so far, my interpretation is your default is that you have folded. So I'm going to keep adding more bluffs. And eventually, these hands make more money. The strong hands in a 3-betting range will make more money when you've peppered somebody with 3-bets. Anyways, I've been on here for 2 hours. I will be wrapping it up. I finished my coffee, so I will try to be back on Saturday. Thanks for joining, Jan. We'll talk soon, okay? Hopefully you get a good night rest. And one day I'm going to visit the Netherlands. You're the man. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Okay, screen's not sharing. And stream. All right.